So I'd be standing up right now if it wasn't for my massive erection for the Jets quarterback room. Should the Jets think about trading Teddy Bridgewater? This is Jets Talk.
Jets, Jets, Jets!
I'm sure YouTube's not going to like the profanity. Profanity? Is erection profanity? I don't know. I said it twice. Oh well. For the first time in a long time, or possibly ever, the Jets actually have a quarterback competition worth monitoring. We're a few days into minicamp right now, and by all reports, Darnold's looking good, Bridgewater's looking good. Second day of minicamp for Bridgewater, a little rougher, and then McCown's doing his thing. So should the Jets trade Teddy Bridgewater? I think it's not an easy question, but I think after 50 years of the Jets not having a quarterback, it's tough for Jets fans to be like, oh, we finally got someone who was on the rise, was going to be a franchise quarterback. We should trade him. I don't know. That's for higher people than me to determine. But either way, Teddy's on a 1-year contract. So if Teddy plays well, we're going to have to re-sign him, or we're just going to have to let him walk. Because the Jets have so much money in free agency, cap space for next year's free agency, we're going to sign a bunch of free agents, which means we're probably not going to get a very good or any comp pick for him. So what you have to look at is, should the Jets trade him? What's his value to our team just for this year? Or would you think about franchising him and trading Sam, next year? I think that's silly. I think Sam is our future anyway. So with that in mind, I think, what price makes sense to move Teddy? I think if we were a playoff caliber team right now, I would say hold on to him, kind of like a Nick Foles. He's worth a lot more for you for that one season. I don't think we're at that point in our building process of our team. I think Teddy makes a great locker room presence. I think he's a great quarterback to have on the roster. But I think he's more valuable as a trade chip. And I think for me, a mid-second round pick is the floor that I would want to trade Teddy for, I guess. I wouldn't want to give him up for a late second. I think having him as that backup or potentially even as a starter if someone goes down, is valuable to us. I think there's a few teams that you could look at that would offer that. I think teams like the Saints, possibly the Texans, maybe the Jaguars or the Panthers, or a team that has a starter that's good, that could go down, and that team still has has a playoff picture in mind for themselves. And I think you could get as much as a first-round pick. We saw Sam Bradford go for a first-round pick. Granted, he had more time on his deal, I believe. But I think a good comparison would be the deal that did not get done with Cleveland and A.J. McCarron. I believe it was a second and a third-round pick that didn't get done because he was on the last year of his deal. I think the Jets could get something comparable to that. And at that point, I would definitely pull the trigger. The franchise tag next year, even though the Jets have a ton of cap, it's still going to be $25 million. You're not going to pay Teddy Bridgewater $25 million and, have Sam Darnold, who you gave up 3 second-round picks for, to get. It's just not going to happen. The other thing I want to bring up is Sam Darnold is playing really well. And I know it's just shorts and T-shirt right now, or, limited pads. But with the way the new collective bargaining agreement has restricted practice time, I think the only way for him to actually get reps and to kind of progress his growth is through starting. We saw Aaron Rodgers sit for his first 2 or 3 years or whatever it was behind Brett Favre, but that was under the old collective bargaining agreement. So he had a lot more time to practice, a lot more hitting in practice. Not that he was getting hitting practice, but a lot of that practice time has been restricted, and we've seen that cause problems with offensive linemen. A lot of offensive linemen that are coming out of the draft don't have the time to hit and practice the way they should be to kind of escalate that growth curve. I think Darnold, I think he's going to wind up starting. If he doesn't start right away, the first stretch of our schedule is pretty tough. I think we have 3 games in 11 days because we go Monday night game, Sunday night game, Thursday night game. And if that is the case, maybe McCown starts or they keep Bridgewater for that stretch. I think if Bridgewater can net us a first or a second round pick, I think we got to pull the trigger on it. I think our team needs to rebuild. I think we do have a lot of good young pieces, but we're still probably a year out before really having a good shot at the playoffs and probably being more competitive, especially when we have $100 million in cap space next year. So we're going to re-up, the guys we need to re-up. We're going to sign, some big-time free agents now that we have a quarterback. I do think that we'll probably go that route. I think that if we can kind of use this year as a growing year for Sam, where there's not as much pressure, not as much expectation, let him take his lumps this year. And then 2019 will be, all guns blazing. Oh, okay, let me know what you think down in the comments. Should we trade Teddy Bridgewater? What would we like to get for him? And where do you think we would trade him, I guess? Or if you want to keep him, what do you want to do with him after the season? Do you sign him long-term? Do you trade Sam? Let me know. I love hearing all those comments. I apologize for not having videos out as frequently as I would have liked. I'm working a little more than I expected. I'm going to try to get a few more videos up more consistently. As always, go Jets.